Hey everybody, so I want to talk to you a little bit today about how I talk to kids about the pelvis and pelvic health and how we open up this conversation with them on a topic that is very unfamiliar with them, very taboo. We teach a lot about private parts and safety, and that's great, but then it becomes this topic that, oh, nobody talks about poop. And so, part of the process of helping a child to identify what is going on with their body and then how we can help them improve that is opening up that conversation with them about pelvic health. And I dive deep in with appropriate verbiage and the way I talk about the pelvis and the muscles. It's just very open. That means using the actual terms, the actual anatomical labels for each part of their body. So, one, they know how to identify what's on their body, the sensations that they're feeling. If they're using some kind of muscular contraction, they can label where it is or know more specifically where it is because they have a little background of the anatomy and just a knowledge of what part of the body that we're working with. So it is difficult, unique, challenging, new, uncomfortable for families to really start opening up this conversation. But and I get a lot of interesting looks in the middle of my sessions when I start talking to a 3-year-old about her anus. But I have found that it's effective. It works to help the kids identify their body and then to be able to communicate to me what they're feeling, and then they can then better improve on the skills that I'm teaching them. So I'd like to give you a little bit of an example of how that conversation goes and what my words sound like, and then you can take that as an example to hopefully translate that into your home. So, do you know what this is? No? So this is called your pelvis. Let's start with the white stuff. What's the white stuff? The white stuff is really hard. It's bones, yes. So let's find these bones. These bones right here are the front of your hip bones. Do you think you could find them deep right in here? Find them in your hips? Those bones right there, you feel them? The front pointy part? That's this right here. So then in the back, what are these pointy things? Spine. This is your spine. So these are your backbones. They go all the way back down until they reach the very last one at the bottom right here. So do you know what this last bone is called? This last bone is called your tailbone. Did you know you have a tailbone? It's way at the bottom, almost in between your butt cheeks. Can you find that? So look right here. Next to your tailbone, there's all of this red stuff. All of this red stuff. What do you think the red stuff is? Not blood. Muscle. Yes, so all of this red stuff is muscle. Did you know we have so much muscle down here in our pelvis? That's a lot of muscle. So let's see, what's in these muscles? Right here, there's one hole, and this is the hole where your poop comes out of. Do you know what this hole is called? This hole is called your anus. This is where the poop comes out. So then in the front, if you're a girl, it looks like this, but if you're a boy, you have a penis right here. So what's this hole in front? What comes out of this hole in front? Pee comes out of this hole in front. And this hole is called your urethra. So you have an anus and a urethra. And so those are the two holes that we're going to be talking about. Do you see how the muscle makes a circle around this hole? And it kind of makes a circle around this hole too. So let's pretend for a second we're going to make two pretend holes with our hands. So we have one hole here and one hole here. These are our anus and our urethra. So what happens if we squeeze those muscles tight? Squeeze tight, tight, tight. What happens to the holes? Are they still open? They're closed. The holes are closed. So when our muscles squeeze tight, the holes close. And if the holes are closed, can pee or poop come out? The pee and poo is stuck inside if our holes are closed. So if we want to let pee and poop out, should we squeeze? No. How do we open the holes? We turn the muscles off, we relax the holes, and then they open. And then the pee and poop can come out. So now let's talk about what's inside the pelvis. There's lots of stuff inside, but right now I just want to talk about two things. So one is in front, up here, in front, and then behind it is this. So they kind of sit like this inside. I'll show you here. So this, you can look inside. This is where your urine is. So your pee, before it comes out, gets stored in this. This is called your bladder. And this holds your pee until you're ready to let it out. And that's right next to this. What do you think this is? This is your rectum, where the poop is before it comes out. So at the very end is the anus. So that's where it comes out of the poop. The poop comes out down here, out of this hole. At the very end, it comes out of the anus. But before the poop comes out, it's stored in the rectum. And so the rectum, you can look inside, it's like a big tube. So when there's too much poop in here, what do you think happens to the rectum? It gets full, bigger, there's a lot of poop in there. If there's too much poop in the rectum, what do you think happens to the bladder next to it? If the rectum is really, really full of poop, it pushes on the bladder. And sometimes that can push pee out. So that could be sometimes why pee leaks out into your underwear when you don't want it to. So this is your rectum, the little slide, and this is your bladder. Okay. Do you have any questions about the pelvis?